yena salakaya Sakshurmilitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurātrise Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. We're reading from Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta Madhya-līlā, Chapter 11, the Beḍā-kīrtana Pastimes. And these are the pastimes that all the devotees from Navadvip coming to Jagannath Puri and King Patrabarudra sees from on the top from a balcony. He sees them all coming, ecstatic, coming into Jagannath Puri to meet the Lord.
And what verse? What verse?
Text 235. Upon seeing the great dancing, great love, and great Sankirtan, all the people of Jagannath Puri floated in an ecstatic love, ocean of love. Hearing the greatness of the Sankirtan, King Prataparudra went up to the top of his palace and watched the performance with his personal associates. The king was very astonished to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's kirtan, and the king's anxiety to meet him increased unlimitedly. After the kirtan ended, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu watched the offering of flowers to Lord Jagannath deity. Then he and all the Vaishnavas returned to his residence. The superintendent of the temple then brought large quantities of prasadam, which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally distributed to all the devotees. Finally, they all departed to rest in bed. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Sachimata, performed his pastimes. As long as the devotees remained at Jagannath Puri with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the pastime of Sankirtan was performed with great jubilation every day. In this way, I have explained the Lord pastime of Sankirtan, and I bless everyone with this benediction. By listening to this description, one will surely become a servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Haribol. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Kṛṣṇadāsa, narrate Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, following in their footsteps. So then this part, volume 4, has ended here. Then I go, tomorrow I will start with a new book. Then I continue, Jai, Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Kṛṣṇadāsa, Kavirāja Gosvāmī Maharaj ki Jai, and the translation and purport from Śrīla Bhakti-vedanta Swāmī Prabhupada Om Vishnupad ki Jai. Sermons of the Guardian of Devotion, Volume 1, by Om Vishnupad, Śrīla Bhakti Rakak Siddhadev Goswami Maharaj. Chapter Faith in the Land of Sacrifice, that is chapter 9, page 120. The Ramanuja Sampradaya, divine succession founded by Sri Ramanujacharya, divided into two, the Tenkalai and Vadakalai sections. Vadakalai refers to those who have more importance to the Vedic scriptures, and Tenkalai are those who give stress to the Tamil scriptures. They are known as Alwars, beginning from Satakopar or Namalwar. In the process of surrender, the Tamilian school lays stress on Madhya-līlā, or the maxim of the cat. Madhya means cat. In the cat's dealing with her kitten, the kitten does not do anything, whereas the mother catches the kitten's neck in her teeth and moves it here and there, wherever she likes. The kitten is passive. No attempt can be seen on its part. He simply accepts whatever the mother does. She feeds him, moves him, etc. This is Madhya-līlā. The Vedic school, which was headed by Desikacharya, favor the Markarta-nyaya, the maxim of the monkey. The cub catches hold of the mother's body, and then the mother wanders and moves the cub here and there. But the beauty of the cub is to clasp the mother's body. So the Vedic school says, you have free will, O Jiva soul, you have something to do. In Sharanagati, you have your part to play. It may be very small, but still you have some part to play. You are endowed with free will, so you must properly utilize your free will. And in the Tenkalai system, they say, no, we have nothing to do. We only need to think that we are His, and His will do whatever is necessary on our behalf. This is the difference between the two schools. The Vedic school holds that some action for free will is necessary. Your pure acceptance and consent is necessary, and the rest will be done by the Lord. But your consent or free will of acceptance, however meager it may be, must be present. This is pure consent, and the Tenkalai section hold that we have nothing to do. Our consideration is nearer to this Vadakalai school, the Vedic school. The jiva has something to do in the way of cooperation or consent. Otherwise, how can the jiva be a part of the Absolute? If the jiva has nothing to do, then everything is in God's Līlā, spontaneous pastimes, and the jivas are all dolls of play in the hand of the Lord. No doubt, this may be so in the highest stage of realization, but that stage is yet to be attained. In the beginning, one has to acquire such a position, because the jiva is part of the subjective world. He is naturally endowed with freedom. There can be no consciousness without freedom, because he is an infinitesimal particle. His freedom is also very small. Still, because he is spirit, he cannot but possess free will. In divine service, that freedom is maintained. Otherwise, bilas, freedom of movement, in pastimes cannot be maintained. In Goloka, everyone is mostly actuated by feeling. By Yogamaya, internal divine potency, they are actuated by love, but still they have their meager personal consideration, and that is influenced by the all-good and favorable environment of the divine plane. Otherwise, how would they maintain their particular name, pastime, and service? So, individuality in the atomic energy is maintained all through. We do not deny the influence of the environment, but the environment cannot devour the personal character of existence of anything and everything. Of exploitation and renunciation, bhukti and mukti, renunciation is more dangerous because it holds a greater position than exploitation. It can exploit more, just as half-truth is more dangerous than falsehood. It can misguide the devotees more. It has its own special glamour over and above exploitation. It can capture the scholars. One who wants relief can think, oh, this is the conception of relief. There is no further. Renunciation captures those who may have heard and been making real progress towards their good, and tells them, yes, you have come here, you have succeeded. It captures them in the name of the higher plane. Renunciation holds some prestige over exploitation. People think, oh, that must be the highest goal. So in this way, half-truth is more dangerous than falsehood. Yeah. I heard seva is the biggest gift to humanity. Like seva, service is so deep and so satisfying, that bond between the Lord and his devotee, that is the love between the Lord and his devotee, and that is in the seva. And no activity can eclipse that feeling of seva, the bond between the jiva and the Lord. The greatest gift given to the world, actually. And they miss out on that, the Mayavadis. The association of a materialist is preferable to that of a Mayavadi. If the Mayavadi can make you enter into the cell of Sajuja Mukti, the liberation of merging with the Absolute, you are finished. There is no calculable time when you will be able to emerge from it. But if you are in materialism, Vishaya, the recruiters may come to you. You may get the chance of meeting a preacher in this material world. But in Sajuja Mukti, you are nowhere. It is very difficult and rare to awaken you from the deepest possible sleep. So that is more dangerous, as half-truth is more dangerous than falsehood. The Mayavadis may even try to bring others into his impersonal conception, because he is suffering from that disease. He thinks that impersonal liberation is the highest, so he recruits for his own purpose. They do not perceive the mistake in their calculation, but they think they have attained the highest type of liberation, and so they try to recruit others for their purpose. But there is a mistake in their calculation. They are not aware of the fact. They are misguided, and they also help to misguide others. How can one who is not established in the truth guide others towards the truth? Then we see all these self-help gurus on the internet, right? That is now rampant.
But sometimes what does come to mind is that we think of Mayavadis as a category of practitioners, but actually Mayavadi tendency can be within us as aspiring practitioners. That tendency for false renunciation can also be within.
You mean within the devotee?
There are tendencies that the exploitation and renunciation, those two, but actually we need to dedicate, isn't it?
Yeah, if we ever have experienced something of seva, of service, or, all things, worship, if we have if we got some grace of the Lord, one little drop of nectar, then we see clearly as a practicing devotee, what is the difference? We have to be convinced that that is the ultimate, that connection with the Lord, that service connection with the Lord eternally. We have to be convinced of that nothing can top that. And liberation, I always think about that. What do the Mayavadis, the renunciates, what sort of bliss do they experience? Because they experience some bliss. But then it's very dry. The bliss of saying, oh, it's all not this, it's all not that. Like that personal connection with the Lord, that makes the juice, that makes the happiness, because we are personal. That is innate in us. And when we hear about the pastimes of Mahāprabhu, when we hear about the Līlā, Radha Krishna and their associates, that is, by hearing we get more and more taste for that personalism. Then impersonalism is out of the question. It's just like when somebody has eating so much, so overeaten, then he wants to fast. It's natural. Something like that. If you have so much experience in the material world and have suffered so much because of it, then you want to renounce that material world. But then it says here, Gomar says, but then the preacher from that that real spiritual world comes by good sukriti, by sukriti comes in our life, and then we hear it, and then the recognition in the soul happens, like, yeah, this is what we need, this is nice, this is wonderful, this is beauty, this is love, over anything else what we have experienced, like power and wealth in the material world. They are misguided, and they also help to misguide others. If it had been possible for him to know the truth, he would have gone towards the land of truth himself. But he has no knowledge of it. He has miscalculated. But there is a conscious land, and whoever is accepted by that land can enter it. Otherwise, by dint of one's own power, no one can enter that land. Everything what we do is by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of Gurudev. This point has been missed by the Mayavadis. We know it in the material world. To think that you have to bow down to a person, they found very, very difficult. And that is the beginning of our connection with Krishna. In the material world, we know it. They think that is, nobody should do that, to bow down to another human being. They cannot understand that somebody has so much grace and so much purification that he is a representative of the Lord. They cannot understand that. And by grace, by undeserved and unexpected, inconceivable grace, we may accept that, and we are very happy to accept that. It's like most beautiful thing to accept a guru who is a representative of Krishna, who is pure, and through him all the charming words coming from that mystic world, through him, through that pure Vaishnava. So that point has been missed by the Mayavadis. That is an independent element. The soil is independent. Like love is also independent of anything else. That is love, independent. Matter is not independent, and the soul is independent here in the material world. But the conscious world is made of supersoul. The very soil is independent. If the minutely independent soul accepts that land, he can enter that land, otherwise not. There is such a land, so the question of becoming a slave must arise. The highest qualification within us is our acceptance of the slave mentality for the Absolute. Like Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur came with that. Like that is what the Gaudiya Mat stands for. To be a slave of the Absolute. These are all words that we accept and we love it, and we are so grateful that that came in our life. But in the material world, they think that is not good. This is the only way to be earnest for the association of the highest existence. So here Kumar says it's the only way. Otherwise, there's still something inside us that has some ego in it. Full-fledged thing, and knowing we are even lower than the smallest particle there in the conscious world, in the spiritual world. We must be ready to accept slavery to its perfection, and then we will be allowed to enter into that domain. Otherwise, we have no hope. It is not very easy to embrace slave mentality, eternal slavery. Slavery is also our future prospect. Are you ready to think like this? You have to be so broad-minded and hopeful that such a higher entity exists. Your hope and faith will have to be of such a magnanimous type to enter that land. You will sign the bond, the contract. I am going to accept eternal slavery. I want to enter that land. You have to search your fortune and sign the bond of slavery. Are we ready for it?
Yes.
The association there is so high that even as a slave, I want that association. I earnestly hanker for that sweet land where my meager personality can become a slave. Such intense faith is necessary, where all other experience, even knowledge, fails. Only faith can carry us there. And faith is the representation of Srimati Radharani.
That is not a slave that is forced to be a slave. It's a slave because of love. Right?
Yeah.
That's the difference between a slave being forced to be a slave and
In this world it's like a perverted reflection, but in that
Right.
world it's like the most beautiful.
Yeah, it's all the way around.
Yeah.
Like, but also one connotation is there that we have to become get from the beginning, like you are nothing. You are like you belong to the Lord, and you have no ownership.
All loss, no gain.
Yeah, that it means like a slave. You're sold to your owner.
But when the owner is so glorious and love embodied,
Yeah,
it's a different situation.
yeah. And there it's also in Caitanya-caritāmṛta. If the soul enters there, then everybody takes them on their lap and kiss them. How sweet is that? Then you want to be a slave, no problem.
The innate nature of the soul is to be a servant of the Lord. But that's, to get to that stage is a process. It's not something that you leave your false ego in one go. It's a process. Because
Yeah.
that is what is stopping to get to that stage.
Yeah.
So the Guru Maharaj said it's a mountain of ego between the Lord, right? And the
Yes.
servant.
We have a mountain of ego.
So that takes time, with practice, with the personal sadhana, with association of the devotees, with service. Service is everything.
Yeah.
It's hopeful that it's our nature.
Right.
That's very hopeful.
And also, Srila Guru Maharaj says we cannot overstep any gradation. How do you say? Like installment. You cannot miss any step towards development, towards that. And going through all the trials and tribulations, with going through it, and it causes some suffering, but then going through the suffering and have the generosity in the suffering. So not losing the giving nature, what is bhakti, in the suffering. Stay generous in the suffering. And then you can slowly go through there. And what you say about that mountain, like Krishna is very far away. If there's a mountain range actually of ego between you and the Lord. But Krishna is very near when there is no mountain in between. Then Krishna is very near. Because it's natural. Where in the world do you hear this process? This process of going very deep inside yourself with the Lord, who's the owner of everything. That is like, and not only in a material sense, in all the religious conceptions. This is full-fledged theism. It's complete. Nothing can eclipse this.
And love for the Lord is not attained by the mystic process of the yogi, meditation, like Mayavadis, or by intellect, right? Only love.
Yes, there's not even intellectualism there. Jnana Sunya Bhakti. Bhakti without intellectualism. So only the love in our heart, our appreciation, our earnestness, our hankering to have that connection, and feeling very needy, feeling very low, very fallen, and feeling very much in need. Because if we have no need, if we can, arrange everything quite good in our life by ourselves, then the Lord will not come. But if his practicing devotee is very needy and say, he will come.
But not only have the prayer only when we need it, need him. It has to be continuous. Because sometimes only people will come to pray when they need him.
Yeah.
But it's a continuous, we have to want it.
Yeah.
We have to have that hunger.
There's a classical example, like people have faith, right, in the Lord. Yeah, I know there's something, what? I don't know. Nobody knows what it is. And then they pray to the Lord, please give me that nice partner in my life. Give me let the children pass their examinations. Please give me wealth, give me all this, that. And then they don't get it, and then faith is gone. That we see that so often.
Or they get it, and then they're gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, that also happens.
And then another suffering. Another suffering comes again. Please,
But what you say, that need, even also in times that we don't feel so much extreme suffering, right? I mean, the need is always there, because this world is not actually our home comfort. There's a lot of things, if it's not personally in our life, with others, so much suffering. So we need all the time the Lord, like desperately, actually, because it's a very nasty world for us, for others, we all the time need him, need the gurus. Yeah. Okay, just a little last paragraph to end. So faith is the main thing. Faith is everything. Shraddha, faith in devotion to Krishna, is the unit with which the whole structure has been constructed there. Okay, yeah, faith is the whole construction of Goloka Vrindavan. It's Achintya, but it's not like what we have, this concrete earth and fire and water or the body and the flesh. I mean the flesh and the skin. It's based on faith. Their faith holds autonomy. Everything moves through faith. No calculation, no robbing, no stealing, no cheating. This is automatic, there in the land of faith. None of this nasty life. I shall always be alert that I may not be cheated in that land. Maybe we have a little bit an example of that when we dream. When we dream, there is not this world and this body involved. So maybe we can compare something like that with when we hear Goloka Vrindavan is constructed on faith. Beautiful, inconceivable. None of this nasty life. I shall always be alert that I may not be cheated in the land of so many cheaters. Here I always have to be alert. I will be cheated. I will be cheated. That is a nasty life. So we must enter into a life where there is automatically no cheating, no calculation, and no reasoning. All are good, all are busy to give you something. Here we are suffering from the opposite, but there everyone is promoting you in your progress, pushing you towards your highest fortune. Such a land is there. To become a slave there is really to become a master. Whoever tends most towards slavery will be held by all as the head. Just as in love of country, if a leader is most sacrificing, he naturally becomes the head of the party. Sacrificing is his qualification. Generally, men have faith in one who has sacrificed much for the country, and they take him as their leader. But here, in the mundane world, love of country is only extended selfishness. So we can end here on that note that to become a slave there, in that highest conscious land, that spiritual world, then everyone is promoting you and progress in your progress, pushing you towards your highest fortune. Wow.
Jai.
Jai. Sermons of the Guardian of Devotion, Faith in the Land of Sacrifice, Ki Jai. Om Vishnu Patsila Bhakti, Rakak Siddhadev Gosvāmī Maharaj, Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Patsila Bhakti, Sundar Govinda Dev Gosvāmī Maharaj, Ki Jai. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinath Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Kavirāja Siva Sari Gaurava Kavirāja. Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhagara Guna. Śrīdhar Gopala Bhakta Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan. Yahoi Devi Jnana Sabhishta Puran. Jai Gosai Jai Bhuri Charana. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. CC Guru Gauranga Sundar Radha Giridhara Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Gosvāmī Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Raka Aksira Dev Gosvāmī Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Vishvavarena Silesi Bhakti Vedanta Swāmī Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta Mat Sri Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Sabhashada Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Sabhashada Sri Mahāprabhu Ki Jai. Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakunda Radhakunda Kiri Govardhan Ki Jai. Sri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Sri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sri Purushottama Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ju Ki Jai. Ganga Yamuna Ju Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Grantarachi Srimad Bhagavatam Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees Ki Jai. All glories to the world devotees Ki Jai. Go-kartas Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Om.
Jai Sachi Devi Ki
Jai. All the devotees Ki Jai.
Madhya.